Hi, welcome to your video quiz. A couple rules before we get started. First off, don't give up. Even if it feels tricky, you're going to get 3 tries if you need it, okay? Rule number 2, learn from your mistakes. Be listening to what I say, because in this video, you're going to get a chance to answer the questions twice. And finally, you can try again. So go back to number 1. Don't give up. You can take this quiz 3 times if you need to. We are practicing using an algorithm or a special pattern or strategy to solve 2-digit multiplication problems. One strategy that you can use to make this sort of math a little easier is to break up your bottom number into ones and tens. Here my bottom number is 21. So I can break this up into expanded form, my ones and tens, and I would have 20, and I would have 1. So instead of doing 34 times 21, I could do 34 times 20 and 34 times 1. These numbers are a lot easier for me to handle if I'm multiplying. When I look at my ones, I have 34 times 1. Well, that's easy because I know when I do 1 times 4 that my answer is going to be 4 because when I multiply by 1 it stays the same. And when I multiply 1 times 3, my answer is going to be 3. I have finished with the first part of my work. Now I can move to my tens, my 2 tens. Whenever I look at this number, 34 times 20, I see that there's a 0 at the end of 20. I have a strategy for this. I know I can put a 0 at the end of my product and then multiply the rest of my number by that 2. So first I'll do 2 times 4, and my answer is 8. Then I will do 2 times 3, and my answer is 6. So first I multiplied my ones, then I multiplied my tens. I broke up my number 21 into 20 and 1. So now I need to add it back together. I'm going to write my numbers vertically because it's easier for me to add when I see my digits lined up. 0 plus 4 is 4. 8 plus 3 is 11, so I will carry my 1, 10. 1 plus 6 is 7. So my total product is 714. Let's try another problem where we split our big multiplication problem into 2 smaller multiplication problems. So first, I'm going to split up my top or bottom number. I'm going to split up my bottom number, 32. I'm going to write this in expanded form. So I look at my tens. I have 3 tens, so that means that my value is 30. Then I look at my ones. I have 2 ones, so my value is 2. So instead of doing 32, I split it up into 30 plus 2. That means instead of multiplying 73 times 32, I can do 73 times 30 and 73 times 2. Next, I'm going to start with my ones or my tens. I'm going to start with my ones. That means I'm going to start with this 2. So I will do 2 times 3 first or 2 times 7 first. I will do 2 times 3 first. 2 times 3 is 6. Next, I will do 2 times 7. 2 times 7 is 14. I am done with my ones. I have finished multiplying 73 times 2. So now I will multiply 73 times 30. When I look at 30, I see I have a 0 at the end. So what can I do with that? When I see the 0 at the end of 30, I know I will put a 0 at the end of my product, and then I will multiply the rest of my factor by that 3. So first I will multiply 3 times 3 or 3 times 7. First I will multiply 3 times 3, and that is 9. Next I will multiply 3 times 7, and that is 21. What do I do next? I broke up my number 32 into 30 and 2. So that means I need to add my number back together again. So I will add 2,190 plus 146. 0 plus 6 is 6. 9 plus 4 is 13. So I'll write my 1s and carry my 10. 1 plus 1 plus 1, that's 3. 2 plus 0, that's 2. So my answer is 2,336. I don't have to break my big problem into 2 smaller problems to multiply, though. I could just use 2 separate rows. So I will look at my bottom number 32. That's 30 and 2. I'm going to start with my 1s, and I'm going to start multiplying my 1s. So that would be 2 times 3. And then I will do 2 times 7. So 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 7 is 14. So I would put my 4 1s and then carry my extra 10. Now here, there's this kind of invisible 0, right? So next I would do 2 times 0, which would be 0 plus 1. So my 1 is just going to fall back down. Next, I will multiply my 10s. This 3 is actually 30. So I need to remember that I have this extra 0, and I'll write it below my 6. Because when I multiply a number that has a 0 at the end, there's going to be a 0 added to my product. Then I will do 3 times 3 and 3 times 7. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 7 is 21. So that means I would put my 1 down in my 1s, down in my digit space, but then I would have to carry my 2. I'm done with that, so I can cross it out. And now I will do plus 2. Once again, I have the 0 here, so I would do 3 times 0, which is 0, plus 2, 2. Here I have my 1s row, just like I had when I split my problem up. And I have my 10s row, just like I had when I split it up. So next, I need to add my rows back together to get my final product. 6 plus 0 is 6. 4 plus 9 is 13. So I will carry over my extra 10. 1, 2, 3, and 2. My product is 2,336. So I still am focusing on the 1s and the 10s, just like I did when I split my problem up. I just happen to have everything all together now. Let's do one more problem in this video quiz. 43 times 28. I'm not going to do my work when I split up my problem, but I do still want to show you how you can split your problem into 10s and 1s by looking at your bottom number and splitting that number into 10s and 1s. 28 has 2 10s, so that's the same as 20. 8, that's 8 1s, so I will put my 8 over here. That means that instead of doing 43 times 28, I could do 43 times 20 and add it to 43 times 8. Let's just store that over here to help us strategize. 43 times 28. Am I going to start with my 10s or my 1s? I'm going to start with my 1s. I have 8 in my 1s place. So am I going to start by multiplying 8 times 3 or 8 times 4? I will start by multiplying 8 times 3. What is 8 times 3? 8 times 3 is 24. So I will put my 4 in the ones place, and then I will carry over my 2 tens. Next, I will do 8 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 2, that's 34. So that means that I would write my 4 in my ones place, and then I would have to carry over my 3. I have this invisible 0 here. So next, I would do 8 times 0. 8 times 0 is 0, plus 3, that's 3. I am done with my ones row, so now I'm going to multiply my tens. I have 2 tens, which is the same as 20. That means I have a 0 at the end of my number. So what do I do first? First, I will put a 0 at the end of my tens row product. Then I can multiply 2 times 3 or 2 times 4. I will multiply 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Next, I will multiply 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. I am all finished with my tens row. So now I have split my rows into a tens row and a ones row. So what do I do next? Next, I add up my rows. 4 plus 0 is 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. So I will carry over a 10. This is 12. So my product is 1,204. Thanks for working on this video quiz. I really hope you tried your best. Now check yourself and get ready to answer these questions for me. Which parts of this quiz were easy for you? Which parts of math are easy for you right now when we do multiplying? Which parts are still difficult for you? You might have a lot of things you notice that you need to practice, but what do you want to practice first? Make sure to let me know. That way we can help you grow and be even more successful next week than you were this week.